Shalom, 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 everyone. Sorry for the late broadcast of the show. Having a whole lot of technical difficulties tonight. Hopefully everyone can see what's going on and everything is going well. Yeah. This is one of those, it's always like it's a struggle stream going on. Really. It really be irritating me for real. Anyway, just got some explaining to do. Last week we were going to be going through, be going through. Oh, shalom, my king. I'm glad you're here. Shalom. You see, I got the I figured out how to get the chat up on the screen. Of course, with stuff like that happening, there's always going to be something else going on. But it's good to see that you are here, Aki. It's kind of late. I'm not going to keep y'all on. This might be a two-part, depending on how it goes. Just trying to figure it out, see how long it's going to be. Depending on how it goes. And well, I guess I'm trying to figure out where should I put it at now that I got it where the chat can pop up on the screen. All right, so last week I told you guys I wanted to do something based off of this post that I did. Well, a post that I responded to. I responded to a post. It was on Brother Conscious Lee's account. I responded to this post. It was dealing with the disciplining of children, and people was talking about if you discipline your child, it's like slavery and all this other kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, I don't agree with that. And kind of went there and began to talk about it. And of course, people got upset. And I said, this would be something to have a real good show about. And then it just didn't happen. And it just didn't happen. And I was just like, okay, that's crazy. So as y'all seen from the title page that was up there, it was dealing with our brother Vocab Malone. He's one of the Christian apologists. He's like the one that kind of opened up everything for all the other people to jump in. You had all these other people jump in behind him and say, yeah, let's go after the Hebrew Israelites. And it all sparked from him going out in the street trying to challenge the brothers as they was out there. And he took it upon himself to pick up that mantle. And from him, a lot of great discussions came about where other people began to jump on the scene too and try to say certain things. And we just have it from there between him and them. So I seen this thing that he had where he was talking. Basically, he was dissecting his pastor. His pastor seemed to have awakened to the knowledge of self, and him and his team is sort of sitting there dissecting him. And he did this last Thursday, and I was like, that'll be something to do a show about, but I wasn't planning on doing that tonight. So everything kind of threw me off. This is kind of sporadic, it's last minute. It's kind of not the way I wanted it to be. But have no fear, we're gonna make the most out of it. So with that being said and done, and with that great explanation, I'm gonna go ahead and start our program for the night. All right. I'm trying. It's like everything want to act up now. Okay. Any day now. Let me see. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Trying to do this right. I might just have to skip past the opening for the night because for some reason everything wants to not work. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's not gonna work, guys. I'm just wasting your time. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let me just go to this opening screen so y'all can see what it is that's going on. All right, so this is our opening screen for the night. I'm not sure why nothing seems to be wanting to work, but hopefully this will get better as we go through with the show. Kind of feel naked without my opening. That's really bothering me. We'll really try to take care of all these technical difficulties by next week. Really, this is irritating. All right, so we can go ahead and just get to the actual video for tonight. And maybe this is happening because I don't know. I'm not even going to try to figure out why this is happening. We just wanted to go with the flow. I wanted it to play. It didn't want to play. So now it's like, okay, let me just do this and just go from there. Now, what I can do before we get started, I can at least play the artist of the week. So I can at least do that. Even though it don't want me to do any of the other stuff, I can at least play the artist for the week. So I'm going to go ahead and play the artist for the week.
I'm not a regular entertainer. I wanna live with our sisters better. This is a message from our sisters better. Sister, brother, sister, brother. My teacher's missing, massive suffering and crying, dying, weighing on my mind. Now you may ask me how I'm feeling, but I'm tired of the lying, and my people keep on buying, and the palatric we buy a mass media. I'm not a regular entertainer. I wanna live with our sisters better. This is a message from our sisters better. Sister, brother, sister, brother. Stop listening, devil. Don't give your money to them, devil. Them young enemy, devil. Them a devil, devil. Separate from them, devil. Stop socializing with them, devil. Just come home from them, devil. Them a devil, devil.
Just one united team, a Rahman and Rahim. The American dream is a nightmare, Kareem. Break away clean from Shaitan and Rajim. Turn the turntables, are sewn in our own labels. Killer nigga lyrics, #1 in the charts. The battle's always been for our minds and our hearts. They're at the top of every single industry. Lost souls, sold, implode, be bold, stay on code.
Yeah. So we got that, our brother. Big up to him. That was the remix to his video. He got in contact with me and said, "Can I show the remix?" So I was glad I was able to do that. At least that can stem as some kind of opening, being as though my opening would not work. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get into this thing with Vocab Malone, and it's called Another Pastor. He calls this Another Pastor Goes Full Israelite. That's what he calls it.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is your host, Vocab Malone, a late night edition of Street Apologists Live. We're going to be talking about an apostolic pastor who turns Hebrew Israelite. Yet another one bites the dust. And we got some very special guests to do that this evening, Thursday, May the 4th. Be with you, 2023.
Yeah, it is interesting,
9:25 Pacific time. Let's get.
So if I can't play my beginning, I'm not going to look at his beginning. Hey. Sorry, I'm going to have to skip past that. Yeah, I'm hating right now. My beginning wouldn't play. They talking about Star Wars and all that stuff right now, so that's kind of not important. This is where they kind of get into it, so I'm going to try to...
Charles. His name is Elisha.
Skip past a lot of stuff. What we going to see, if you don't know Vocab Malone, you will learn... Amen, Arcade. If you don't know Vocab Malone, what you will learn is that this brother, I'm gonna put myself up here in this open space. All right, so Vocab kind of really has it in for a lot of the One West, a lot of different debates with One West, Camp of the Hebrews. So you want to hear him talking about that, and he kind of try to place himself as if he is a professional on Hebrew Israelites. So he kind of categorizes them. So they're going to handle this real scientific. So I want y'all really to pay attention to how they're going to handle this real scientific. Like, they're going to look at all the information and they're going to say, hold on, let's look at this, let's look at that. They're going to talk about all these things. And they're going to be really, really scientific with it. And you'll see what I mean. So we're going to go there. Like I said, I'm not going to be that long tonight because it is late, so I don't want to be on there too late. So I probably got a good 40 minutes left before we depart. So let's get into it.
On Quidof's name, at least his first name is. And so he's like, hey, another guy's coming out. And the reason why I'm showing this is how I found out about this pastor who flipped Hebrew. Was I saw this video. Somebody sent me this. So the Hebrew Israelites are trumpeting this pastor up as like a trophy, sharing clips of his video.
All right. Now, this is one thing. So, because he's going to stop a lot dissecting this. If y'all think I stop a lot when I look at what people are saying and I go through what they're saying, if y'all think I stop a lot, Vocab is going to stop a lot. I had to say, God dang, brother, you stopping a lot. Let the video play. I know how y'all feel when y'all tell me, let the video play. I had to say this, and I was like, golly, man, let the video play. What's going on here? He just stopping and stopping, right? I gotta stop right here because he said Hebrews are holding up this pastor and other pastors like him like trophies. Misinterpretation. Now, you're going to hear a lot of purposely, this done on purpose, stuff said and talked about in a certain manner. And as it comes up, I'm going to point it out. This right here is said in a derogatory manner, calling like the pastors who are coming to the knowledge of themselves. The Hebrews are holding them up like they trophies. Like, yeah, this our trophy. What are you talking about? Whenever any brother or sister comes to the knowledge of self, we are happy. We get excited about that. It feels good. It's not holding someone up like a trophy, like saying, yay, we won, got another one over here with us. That's how you guys in Christendom from the apologist side are looking at it. We not looking at it like, yay, we got one, got a pastor. Now, of course, I can't speak for all Israelites, but for the most part, we not looking at it like, yay, got one, and all that kind of stuff like it's a trophy. When a brother or sister comes to the knowledge of themselves, when they come to the light, and it is very, very powerful, where we get excited about that. That's what happens in that situation. We aren't looking at that and saying, oh man, we won, we got a trophy. Like the when he said that, I was like, oh, why are you saying it like that? Like, no one's saying, yay, we won, we got a trophy. No one's saying that. You know, for the most part, what people are saying is, it's so exciting right now that we have a brother or sister that's come to the knowledge of self. That's what's being said. So I had to point that out because disparaging language is going to be used like that, because the idea is, there's two ideas that's going on. One idea is they feel like you becoming an Israelite, or not even becoming an Israelite, because you just become aware that you are Israelite, right? So once you come to the knowledge of yourself and say, this is who I am, they feel like that's attack on Christendom. How dare you say this is who I am? You're attacking Christianity. You shouldn't be saying this is who I am. You should just like that shouldn't have nothing to do with anything. You having knowledge of yourself shouldn't have anything to do with anything. Next thing is they say it's attacking Christianity, or attacking your religion, and that's also false. And what makes them really upset is when these pastors come to the knowledge of self, it kind of makes it hard for them to paint this picture of these guys out in the street cussing you out. So it's hard to have people get angry and be upset with a dude out on the street cussing you out, calling you out your name, yelling at you. You can easily get upset and angry with that person. You can easily just not acknowledge anything that person is saying. You can say, you know what, I don't care nothing about what any of these people saying, because they out here cussing at us and wilding out. They not no men of the Almighty, right? But when you have someone who is how I want to say this. We have someone who is seen as a pastor or a Christian leader, and now they're saying this, and they coming from you from the church or from the pulpit, that puts a different look on it. Because now it's like, it's really something up with this. Can we really listen to this? Is this really something we need to understand and know? So it changes the dynamic. You understand what I'm saying, Aki? I know you still there, Brother Tony, and anyone else that might be there listening. Y'all got what I'm saying? When a guy on the street cussing you out, it's easy to dismiss him. It's easy to say, oh, I don't care nothing about what that guy's talking about. Right? But when it's somebody that's a preacher that you respect in a ministry, and now they're saying this, it's kind of hard to just look at that person and say bump what they talking about. It's kind of hard because this is a man of faith. So I think that's what make this really dangerous to them, because now it's not the guy with the funny clothes, as they would say, out there wilding out, but it's a preacher. All right, so let me let him finish going.
Have you seen this before? I played it just now.
Yeah, I've seen it before, but it also reminds me of the pastor who converted in ISUPK. So it kind of gives me that kind of feel when I...
Did you hear what he said? He said a pastor converted to IUPK. I think the IUSPK. I think that's the organization, right? The pastor converted. So in other words, he decided he was no longer a Christian. He converted to being an Israelite. In other words, he got rid of the Mashiach. He not following the Messiah no more. Total about, okay. That's the thing, right? So he said he's not following the Messiah no more. He's a part of the Mashiach. He's a part of this Hebrew Israelite stuff. So they worded it a certain way. He converted. What do you mean he converted? He came to the knowledge of self, and he decided to then take the scriptures and look at it through that lens of what the Messiah came to do for him and his people. How are you turning it into conversion? Conversion is when a Goyim or a Gentile decides that they are going to join and be part of Israel. That's conversion. Conversion is not when an Israelite wakes up and say, you know what, I know who I am now. Let me start keeping the commandments and following the Mashiach, Rabbi Yahshua ben Yosef. Let me follow him in the right way. That's not conversion. What are you talking about? But these are the terms you're going to hear them use and other things as they talk. You can be like, what in the world are they talking about?
First watched it.
Yeah, you're talking about the pastor that literally handed his keys over and then did the salute?
Yep. That's the video I watched. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that pastor you're talking about in Texas, he started off in the 3-piece suit and ended up in spiked studs and leather.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget about those fringes.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
See the corniness. I just want y'all to hear the corniness, but I'm a bypass it.
All right, so let's play the rest of this, because he's gonna play clips that he thinks is important from this pastor. So let's see what he plays here. And notice what it says here. Another pastor embraces Hebrew Israelite. This is from his TikTok video. That's what he put on there. Let's see.
Yep.
Check him out.
Believe it is my conviction that blacks, Africans, Negroes of Africa, right down around New Guinea, down around Negro land, Cameroon, these particular areas of Africa are in fact Judaites, or...
All right, so you just tell me, Jude, whenever you want to stop, just let me know. But so far, I mean, it sounds like the gentleman might be watching some Dante Fortune videos. Because once I hear somebody getting excited about the Negro land map, I'm like, I'm not saying he's the only one, but he's definitely he's kind of popularized that.
So see how he's getting technical and he's talking about who he think he's following after because of certain things that he's saying and certain ways that he's talking. So he says, "Oh, I think he might be listening to Dante, and he talking about Negro land and this, that, and the other, right?" And really go out trying to really look at this through a scientific lens, like you. It's crazy, but I just want y'all to notice that now. What I see is of course, if this brother just came into the knowledge of self, he's not going to be aware. So maybe he is coming from this lens that Vocab believes he's coming from. Maybe he is coming from this way. Who knows, right? But the idea behind it is, if he is coming from this way, okay, he's still in learning. You know, when you start coming into something, you're not going to know everything. Just like when Vocab and them became Christians, they didn't off the back knew everything about Christianity. It took time for them to learn the doctrines and all the stuff. All they knew was just different stuff that they heard here and there. It's the same thing with this brother, but we're going to see how they try to carry him.
But what do you think of the beginning of this so far?
Well, for me, it just sounds really interesting because it's like I've heard this argument before about the map being, and it just sounds
a little bit there. Jude, just Christian Urban Apologetic Show, specialized in Hebrew-ism. Got some special guests on today. A couple more are going to be joining us later, and we're discussing.
All right, so he kind of having technical difficulties on his end. You see
evangelical Christian pastor who turned Hebrew Israelite, and here he's giving his reasoning here. And this video is tied the Hebrew Awakening, the Prophetic Promise, Part 1. And let's listen to his reasons here. He seems like a nice guy, but let's see what he says here. Walsh, I just sent the link to click on, the eCam link in the Facebook chat. I just sent it just now.
All right, let me skip it a little bit.
Without the ideology of the race stuff when it comes to...
Okay.
Usually it's not of the One West variety. Usually it is of a non-One West type, and that usually means they're what some people call black-only Israelite.
I kind of went back. I'm sorry.
Not now. He's not including them, right? I don't hear
they talking to each other about stuff that I could skip past.
No, I haven't heard that when I watched the full video, I haven't heard him mention anything about the 12-tribe chart.
And what about this, Jude? What I feel like I've noticed is...
All right, so you say you talk about the 12-tribe chart. So what they're doing is they trying to investigate to see, okay, which line or which camp is he going with? So he can't just be a brother that's coming to the knowledge of truth and just trying to find his own way. He has to belong to one of the camps. Do he do this? He with that camp. Do he do that? He with that camp. So now they saying, okay, if he's part of the One West, then he has to accept the 12 charts ideology. And they say, well, we didn't hear him talk about the 12 charts. So since we didn't hear him talk about the 12 charts, then that would give us the idea that he's not part of that branch, and now they're going to go on with that.
Usually when a Christian who kind of wants to stay on the Christian side of the ledger, when they embrace Hebrew-ism, usually it's not of the One West variety. Usually it is of a non-One West type. And that usually means they're what some people call black-only Israelite.
Yeah.
And that he seems like he would fall within that category. So doesn't hold to the 12 tribes chart. And even though the Hebrew Israelite who's putting out this video, who's excited, his name's a One West name, the pastor doesn't seem to be embracing any kind of Lashawan Kodash. He seems to be taking sort of the bare bones of Hebrew Israelism. Like C.S. Lewis wrote Mere Christianity. This is mere Israelism. That's what it sounds like.
And notice they even made up a word, Israelism, Hebrew-ism. The one with the hat on that has the secret that has the sacred name on his hat. He's going to call it Hebrew-ism, right? And he just called it Israelism. And Hebrew Israelism. They got a little different terms and stuff. He say, okay, he said, okay, what I see is college science versus real knowledge of self, and they will not understand until they themselves have knowledge of self. My question is, dude on the top looks Caucasian. If so, this type of knowledge is all he knows and will not be open to the fact that we are who we are. You cannot convert from your own identity. Exactly. You can't convert from your own identity, right? So, and he is Caucasian, okay? He is. And he is one of he is a bold Caucasian brother that went out in the community and began to challenge the Hebrew Israelites that's on the street that like to cuss people out at times when the ones that kind of made a bad name for us for a minute, cussing people out during those eras where they would really cuss you out. Like now they brothers kind of mellowed out, but back then you would get cussed out. And he was right there stepping up to them and made a name for himself. And now he got a little following. As you see, he got different people that join in with him. And they all call themselves apologists. And they go out and attempt to debunk or deflate or fight against brothers and sisters who are coming to the knowledge of self. And at one point, they used to put everybody into one box. And after he encountered brothers like Zion Lex and others, and he seen that he couldn't put everybody in one box, that's when he began to break it down even more and investigate it. He done wrote books about it, trying to tell you how you can talk to a brother or a sister that's in his way and confound them. And you will see people use his techniques to try to confound brothers and sisters and say, there's a whole lot to it. If you look at the description, and I have his video in the description, if you actually go to his video, you will see a whole list of things that he's done, including write books and all that stuff. You say he's brave, but sad that he has brothers now follow him instead of following the Torah. Sad. Exactly. It's just like, that's why I say a lot of the problem came from during those times. The different brothers that was out there cussing people out left a bad taste in people's mouth. Especially in our brothers and sisters' mouths. I remember when I used to just be out passing out pamphlets or passing out tracts, and people would come up, you Hebrew, you Israelite, you Hebrew Israelite, and they be ready to attack me, because they think I was like the brothers down Lexington and Market. I'm like, that's not me. I'm not them, right? But in their mind, you the same. So in their mind, that is you. And it's sad. So yeah, you are correct, Aki. It's sad to see that type of situation happening right here. But let's move on.
Yeah, so basically, when I was watching it, it seemed like he was mixing Christian Orthodox with some of the teaching without the ideology of the race stuff when it comes to. So it's like he was kind of
very minor, Joe. Give me more information on that. Let's
were
play this
involved in the slave trade.
So notice the slave trade is the rubric again. So obviously he's the Deuteronomy 28 guy. I never met a Hebrew Israelite who's not a Deuteronomy 28 guy, but that's his rubric. So that's what he's got so far.
Of the West.
So we see again, he's going to dissect this very systematically the way he does. Him and this brother right here, and then another guy's eventually going to join him as well. And those three guys are going to dissect this pastor. They're going to get finished with this TikTok that the brother made with the pastor. They're going to go right to the pastor's actual video, and they're going to dissect each aspect of that video. All right, so yeah, you see, he brought up the thing about Deuteronomy 28. They really, really hate the fact that we talk about Deuteronomy 28. They hate the fact that we talk about them curses. It's like they just want you to leave that alone. So they say, oh, of course you're going to go to Deuteronomy. That's all you guys got, right? Now, that's why I always tell brothers it's good to know history, because when people come at you with that, they think, well, all you want to say is Deuteronomy 28. They think they can get you. But when you know history, and you able to break down stuff historically, it changes the narrative. Because now they got to come with something else. Right? But we see right there, he said he never met a Hebrew Israelite that didn't believe in Deuteronomy 28. Of course we're going to believe in Deuteronomy 28. What are you talking about? They kind of try to make you feel bad, like you shouldn't believe in Deuteronomy 28. Why shouldn't you? Like, okay. Like, that's just like me getting upset if I say, I never met a Christian that didn't like John 3:16. John 3:16. And you be looking like, of course we gonna like John 3:16. Right? That's one of the most famous Christian scriptures ever. John 3:16, right? But imagine somebody say, there they go and give it that John 3:16. Never met a Christian that didn't like that. You'd be like, what are you talking about? Of course. Like, it's crazy, right?
Coast of Africa.
And he's got a location now, West Coast of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he's going with. So that's his rubric so far. Now, when you talk about Americas, you do have primarily West Coast of Africa, but not only, and it's just very difficult to go back and say, oh, this person's ancestors actually are from Central or East or South. And, I'd wonder if this pastor drops them, well, you can't be an Israelite. You're not from the West Coast of Africa, or, interesting. Not.
All right, so now it's nitpicking through it. Everyone always told us that we came from the West Coast of Africa. Now that we hop on that, especially being able to say that you're a West African Jew, now is, well, how you know you came from the West Coast of Africa? Could have came from the East. Could have came from the mid East. Could have came from this part, that part. That was all this other stuff, right? The majority of brothers and sisters that came over here to do the slave trade came from the West Coast of Africa. If they came from other parts, some of them, then they came from other parts. But for the most part, the majority of them came from the West Coast of Africa. You can't deny that. There's been books written and everything about this. There's so many books written and historical accounts that says this. So now when the pastors clearly coming from this knowledge that they say the majority of us came from the West Coast of Africa. So that's where he's coming from, as he's saying it. You try to say, well, what about this or what about that? Like he's nitpicking. He's just going by what we was always told. Yeah, what I ever says, I was in school and learning about slave trade and everything. They said West Coast of Africa. That's what they said. Now that he hops on it, is, oh, what about this part? Or what about that part? Well, what about it? What about it? All right. I want to show y'all something in the scripture Let me see if I can go to the scriptures because I'll run it out of time. Because I really want to end this stream at 11 and build up for next week when we can go further. So let's go. Let me see. Let me go to the scripture real quick. Yeah. So I believe this verse is in I think it's in Matthews. So let me go to Micaiah. I'm gonna hit this scripture up real quick. And I think it is 16th chapter. I wanted to show y'all something. It's a parable that that the Mashiach uses. And as he uses this parable, I'm just like, wow, this is a deep parable that he uses. So let me see. I'm gonna try to search it in. What's the name of that parable? The parable. This is the parable about the I think it's about the tares. Let me see. Parable about the wheat and the tares. Okay. All right, so that's it. So I was slightly wrong. It is the 13th chapter. So let's go to that. The 13th chapter of Micaiah. All right, so I want to show y'all something because this is something, and I believe people are going to like this. Let me try to make my man a little smaller and put him out the way for a minute. There we go. So I believe people are going to like this. All right, so this is from Micaiah chapter 13. It says, on the same day, Yahshua went out of the house. Let me put this on a version where they say Yahshua, because I know some people really have a problem with the JC being shown. So even though I'm saying Yahshua, they'll be like, it's say JC, it's say JC. So make my man a little bit bigger. All right. But that day, Yahshua went out of the house and he sat down by the seaside. And great crowds assembled to him, so that he embarked, seating himself in a ship. And all the crowds were standing on the beach by the sea. Now, something you want to notice here, when the Mashiach talks to the crowd of people, he's always going to talk to them with parables. He's never going to come to them and just plainly tell them what is what. He's always going to talk to them with parables. That's just how he talks to them, right? So, his Talmudim, his disciples, he taught to them plainly. The people he always taught to in parables. Now, he decides to tell the people this parable. Now, how is he telling the people this parable? He's in a boat. And I know people are like, oh, what he trying to hit at? What he trying to hit at? He's in a boat, right? This crowd is on the beach of the sea. He begins to tell them this parable. Why is he telling them this parable while he's in the boat? He wears ears, let him hear, right? Yeah, I'm getting a little esoteric as we get through this. All right, so look at what he says. It says, and he was speaking much with them in parables. And he said, behold, a sower went out to sow. But as he sowed, some fell on the side of the road, and bird came and ate it. Others fell on a rock. Oh, no, this is not the one I wanted. Hold on, let me go now. This is the one. Sorry. I got carried away. This is the one. That's the one right here that I want y'all to look at. All right, so it's verse 24. It says, he told them another parable. He said, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. While men slept, listen to what he's saying. While men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and he left. But when the grass sprouted, it produced fruit. Then the tares also appeared. And the servants of Adonai, or the servants of the master of the house, approached and said, Adonai, did you not sow good seed in your field? From where are the tares in it? But he said to them, an enemy has done this. His servant said to him, do you want us to go and select them out? But he said to them, when you collect the tares, you would then uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest, I shall say to the reapers, select out the tares first and bind them into bundles to burn, but gather the wheat to my granary. What is this talking about? Just as Vocab pointed out, right? Vocab said, well, wait a minute. You talking about people coming from the West Coast. What about this coast? What about that part? What about this part? So are you going to say they not Israel? The truth of the matter is, we can't say that everyone that came over in the ships, I know we want to say it. I know brothers going to give me some flack about saying what I'm about to say. But this is something that I seen some time ago, so I'm trying to let y'all in on a little something. Because some of y'all battle with people who aren't awakening. Y'all battle with these people. Y'all like, y'all need to learn, you the people too. And they tell you, no, we not. And some of them same people will tell you, we can it. And we this and we that. and they will argue you tooth and nail about being something other than Israel. We get so caught up and emotional because we want to know all of us are Israel, right? And then I read this, and I sat there and I read it again, and I said, wow, the Mashiach told this parable. And let me break it down. I'm going to break it down in the last 5 minutes. We can go in from there. And this will be something that we can build on later. Maybe. The kingdom of heaven is like a man that sowed good seed in the field. What's the field, right? The idea is the Mashiach is showing us the exile. And in the exile, not only were Israel brought over here, but other people from other places as well. You can't say everybody was. I know we want to say that. I know I'm gonna get some kind of people backlash, angry that I'm saying this, right? Because we want to make everybody black in Israel. Everybody that's black is not Israel. I'm gonna say it again. Everybody that's black is not Israel. Well, how can you say that, brother? Well, at one point in time, weren't everybody black? So all of them was Israel? You gotta stop and think for a minute. Everybody that's black is not Israel. But look at this. Some people that was brought in, it was brought in for the purpose to deter Israel from growing. Look at what it says. It says, the kingdom of heaven is like a man that sowed good seed in his field. Who is this man? What is he talking about? The seed, who is the seed? The seed is Yisrael, right? So think about it. Yisrael was planted in his field. Look at what it says, while men slept. We slept. We had no knowledge of self. Didn't know nothing about what was going on. We slept. While sleeping, the enemy who brought us over here also brought tares over here. These tares mixed among the wheat. When the people began to grow and say, I know who I am, I'm Israel. As they grow, some people saying, I ain't that ain't me. We get mad and want to force them, saying, no, that is you. Maybe it ain't them. Did you ever stop and think maybe it ain't them? Maybe they not Israel. Just because you awaken and you saw that you was Israel, maybe it ain't them. Maybe they not. But you want everybody to be. Maybe they not. So the idea in it is, well, what can we do at this point? What are we to do? Let the wheat and the tare grow together. Let the wheat and the tare grow together. Then in the end, when the Almighty goes to gather them, all those people that's not of Israel are going to be separated from Israel. Now I know y'all might say, come on, that's kind of far-fetched. You kind of stretching it with that. Maybe I am. This this is his thoughts, right? This is his thoughts that come to mind. I can't say concretely that that's what that is, but when you read it, look at what it says. And the servants of the master of the house approached and said to him, Adonai, did you not sow good seed in your field? From where are the tares in it? But he said, an enemy has done this. His servant said, do you want us to go out and select them out? But he said, when you collect the tares, you're going to uproot the wheat. You can't do the harvest like that. What is the harvest? We all know the harvest is talking about the end. When he's going to send his malachim, he's going to send his angels out to reap the fields, to bring in his elect. He says, so if you collect them now or try to separate them, you're going to mess up the real wheat. We can't let that happen. Let them grow together. Once they grow together and we go to reap, then you'll be able to separate it. Right? Just a way to look at it. I know some people might be like, come on, I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it. It's all good. You don't have to buy it. You do not have to buy it. He said, amen. It's sad. We always want to make everybody into Israel. It's like, sometimes it can be the most craziest people. You like, they Israel too. Are they? Are they Israel too? Can we really say they Israel too? That's why I said this awakening thing is deep. It's like once you awaken, you know. And some people get so upset with you that you know. And they want to convince you that you're not, right? That's the wheat and the tare growing together. That's just how I look at it. I could be wrong. I could be totally taking that joint out of context. But it makes sense to me. Because think about it. Everybody, we always try to make everybody black Israel. Can we really do that? Can we really do that? I believe if you know who you are, you're going to stand firm on who you are. And if you don't at the time, and then once you come to the knowledge of self, I don't believe the Almighty going to let you leave from out of this world without knowing who you are. Even if he bring the knowledge and you want to deny it, that's on you. But we have to admit the truth, as he's pointing out. It was some people that came over here on those slave ships that wasn't Israel. Amen, Arky. Amen. That's something that brothers and sisters don't want to agree with, but I'm glad you're able to say it, Arky. It is what it is, right? And I think at this point, that's when we really can get serious and talk about stuff, right? And we really can talk about issues like this and not just get caught up with our emotions and where we want to stand. I'm going to stick this way, stick that way. I still look at it as my sisters and my brothers because the wheat and the tare got to grow together. But I can't say I know. Just like in the parable, the Mashiach told they didn't know. And no. They had an idea, say, oh, something don't look like they weeds. Oh my goodness, weeds growing with the wheat. What you want us to do? Want us to pull the weeds up? No, because you might pull some of the wheat up in a process. Let them grow together. And then when a harvest come at the end, when the harvest come, then I will separate them. That's just my take on that. When I heard him say that, that's just what popped in my mind. So I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to close out, brothers and sisters. Really appreciate you all. Appreciate you, brother Tony, for always being there on the lives. I feel like we be tag teaming it up. Like we be in this together. It feel good to be able to correspond with you, because last week, even though you was on here, I couldn't tell because I couldn't see nothing. The chat wasn't working. Now this week, my little introduction and stuff not working. Hopefully my closing will work. Now my introduction didn't work. That kind of irritated me a little bit, and I'm like, okay, my introduction decided out the blue it wasn't going to work. It decided out the blue it wasn't going to do what I wanted it to do. And it kind of made me upset and angry. So what am I going to do now? And that's how I kind of ran with it, right? But now I'm trying to see if my closing is going to do what I wanted to do. But that look like that's not even going to do what I wanted to do. Like my closing is not even going to work for me. Oh my goodness, boy. I tell you, that's how, look, I know people don't like that, but that's how you know the Almighty working with you. When an adversary try to mess up basic things, like, come on, you can't even let this work? You serious? Like, all I'm trying to do is just show my closing. You won't even let me show my closing? Is it that, sir? You won't even let me show my closing? I can't even show the closing. Let me see if they're going to let me show the closing. It should let me show the closing, but let me see. Now, it look like it would have let me show the intro, too. But let me see if it's going to let me show the closer. Okay, it's letting me show it. All right, shalom, everyone.